J-Bo gang, J-Bo gang, J-Bo gang. What the fuck going on, man? Hey, man, say, man, today, we back with another reaction, man. And today, we're gonna be reacting to criminals' insane reactions to hearing their prison sentences, man. Hey, man, if you're new to the channel, man, like, comment, and subscribe. Today we got a little 16-minute video, bro, so I ain't gonna be doing too much talking. Let's go ahead and hop straight into it, man. J-Bo gang, J-Bo gang, J-Bo gang. Yeah.
Soaring over benches with NBA-level airtime. Full-blown WWE-style courtroom brawls that even John Cena would applaud. Flipping off the jury like it's a bold legal strategy. These wild moments actually happened. On today's episode of the Infographics Show, we're diving into the most insane criminal reactions to hearing their sentences. Number 10, Jaleel Smith Riley. On the night of November 13th, 2013, a young couple, Aaron Martin and Portia Brooks, were out on a date. The two had parked their car in a side street hoping for some privacy to do, well, couple things, but their night of romance would end in tragedy. Security camera footage picked up three men approaching the parked car from the main street. One of them, Jaleel Smith Riley, would bend down and knock on the window with the butt of a gun. He forced Martin out of the vehicle at gunpoint and then proceeded to ask for his money. Martin wasn't carrying any cash on him, though, and after rifling through his pockets and coming up empty, Riley shot Martin in the head. Afraid that Brooks' scream...
Bro, you deserve to be in jail for the rest of the time you can even think on this earth, bro. You know how fucking bro, do you know how, like, bro, do you know how evil you have to be to do some shit like that, gang? Like, no cap, bro. Like, you broke yourself and you gonna call the nigga you robbing a broken and shoot. Like, bro, what, bro? This shit can't be real life, gang. Like, no cap, J-Bo gang. Am I tripping, bro? Like, bro, I don't watch like shit like this, bro. So like, when I hear shit like this, gang, like, bro, what? Bro, it's no, beyond evil, nigga. This is a, like, bro, what's the most evilest, bro? I don't know, gang. This shit's crazy, J-Bo gang. Bro, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna be doing pausing the video, bro.
Into the car and shot her twice at point blank range. Riley would end up getting picked up by the police not long after the attempted robbery. He discovered that Martin had survived his gunshot wound to the head, albeit with severe brain damage.
Yeah, bro. That's God, bro.
Her wounds 3 days later in the hospital.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Brooks' sister would bring her ashes every day to Riley's trial, telling the judge, "I have to deal with life without Portia, so he should have to deal with life without parole."
Facts, bro.
Riley would end up asking for leniency, breaking down into tears, and asking the judge to please let me come home one day. His pleas would fall on
go take it up with God, bro.
As Riley would end up getting life without the possibility
take that
of
shit
parole,
up with God, bro.
plus an additional 11 years for attempted robbery. Any pretense of living the thug life fled Riley's body as he collapsed into a sobbing mess in the middle of the courtroom.
Hey, man, go take that up with God. Diana Lovejoy.
Diana Lovejoy and her ex-husband, Greg Mulvihill, were...
Bro, hold on. Hey, bro. Does this shit get more evil by like each person, bro? I'm just gonna go ahead and prepare, bro, for what's, I don't know, bro. This shit's crazy.
Dispute over their infant son on the...
Hey, man, I know we not fucking with these ass, bro.
Night of the 1st of September 2016, Mulvihill received an anonymous phone call with a male voice saying that he had incriminating evidence against him. The caller said that a copy of the evidence would be taped to a utility pole along a dirt path in Carlsbad, California. Mulvihill did what any suspicious person would do. He grabbed a baseball bat and asked a neighbor to come along, fearful that his unstable ex-wife was either blackmailing him or setting him up to get jumped.
I'm a little lost on this one.
What he didn't know was just how far his ex-wife Diana Lovejoy would go.
Why does it say hell? Chill, okay, bro. This shit funny, bro.
To gain custody of their child. When Mulvihill arrived at the described location, he found a package taped to a utility pole as promised, and a gunman hiding behind a bush. The shooter suddenly opened fire, striking Mulvihill in the side before fleeing. Naturally, Lovejoy would be the immediate prime suspect. She had been vocal about having to share custody of her son and pay $120,000 in alimony to her now ex-husband. A week later, she was picked up, and she soon implicated her then-boyfriend, Weldon McDavid, in a plot to kill Mulvihill. Lovejoy's reaction to hearing her sentence, 26 years to life in prison, would soon go viral, with her being so stunned by the development that she collapsed in court. In the background, Lovejoy's relatives
You gotta
can
come,
be
bro.
heard
When you do
crying out for
J-Bo
the
game, bro.
would-be
When you do
murderer,
shit like
as
this, bro, you gotta
Lovejoy's head
accept what
lands
come with
a
that shit, bro.
satisfying thunk on the courtroom table. Not all the defendants are remorseful, though. Our next defendant tried to initiate a WWE brawl in the middle of the courtroom, starring himself and the judge announcing his sentencing. Have you ever dreamed of creating your own website but found the process too daunting, expensive, or time-consuming? Web and the previous record facing a charge for attempted battery with substantial bodily harm. In the middle of the trial, Redden made a plea for leniency, stating
I
that he
can
didn't
charge you
believe
if you
he
cut
should
me
go to
some
prison despite his previous criminal history.
I know I
The
can
judge
change you
asked
if
him
you
if
cut
he
some
had
money.
reviewed that criminal history, to which Redden admitted that he had lived it. At this point, the judge decided that given Redden's prior
You can change
violent
this
history,
reading.
she needed to install a harsher punishment than he had been hoping for. As she launched into her sentencing, Redden himself decided that the best way to convince this judge of his reformed, peaceful character was to
I'm crying,
attack
bro.
her. Redden leapt out from behind the defendant's desk and ran at the judge, leaping into the air like Superman in
Yeah,
an attempt
bro,
to
you're
get at
dumb.
her.
You're a dumbass,
Redden
bro.
would be
Now you're going to
immediately
jail for the
grappled by
rest
a
of your
court
life,
aide
bro.
and the bailiff, protesting the injustice of being restrained
J-Bo
for
game, bro. Don't be a
casual
crash
attempt
out, bro.
at savagely assaulting the judge. Surprisingly, weeks later, the judge would hand down her sentence: 19 to 48 months in prison for the
That's
battery
really not,
charge
bro.
as he was
For what he
initially
did, bro,
in court
that's
for.
not long,
And
bro.
if that wasn't enough, Redden's courtroom theatrics earned him an upgraded prize, an attempted murder charge for the failed judge attack. Turns out that attacking
Yeah, you're
your
going to
judge
jail.
is not a great strategy for winning your court case. But
You're
that's
cooked,
hardly
buddy.
a deterrent for our next defendant. Number 7, Melissa Hardwick. Melissa Hardwick and her husband were undergoing a divorce, but it seems that Melissa wasn't content to let romance die. The separation didn't end the drama, it fueled it. Unwilling to let go, she harassed her husband so relentlessly, he had no choice but to seek a restraining order. Melissa's interruptions
Damn,
during
man.
her husband's testimony were
Hey,
so
man.
relentless that the
I
judge
don't
was
need
forced
nothing
to
like that in my
intervene,
life, bro.
repeatedly warning her to stay silent. Undeterred, she ignored the warnings and kept disrupting, prompting the judge to issue a final ultimatum. One more outburst and she'd be held in contempt of court. Now that's just a slap on the wrist if you're rich, but it's a guaranteed fast pass to jail if you're not.
Nah, for
because,
real.
well,
Bro said
America.
fast pass.
Melissa, inspired by the judge's warning, immediately apologized and sat quietly for the rest of the proceedings. Just kidding. Melissa embraced her inner Kentucky rebel and yeeted herself with the same reckless abandon as Confederate General John Bell Hood hurled his troops at Union fortifications in Franklin in 1864. Predictably, that ended in total disaster, just like Hood's charge. Melissa charged at the judge, likely screaming, "The South shall rise again," as she leapt onto the bench. Her rebellion was short-lived, though, as court staff promptly dragged her off the judge's desk and body-slammed her to the floor, ensuring the only thing rising was the bailiff's blood pressure. Her 10-day sentence would end up becoming a 120-day prison stay, giving
Cook.
the world a front-row seat to the
Dumbass.
chaos
Really
that
should've got
likely
longer.
drove her estranged
Why is you
husband
trying
to
to,
seek a
man?
restraining
Why is you trying to fucking rush the judge, gang? Like, bro.
order in the first place. If you think it's only the judges that are in danger in the courtroom, then you would be mistaken, because you would never believe who this defendant ended up attacking at his sentencing. Number 6.
Oh, this
Joseph
nigga
Zeiler.
looks evil.
Now, Joseph Zeiler is about as foul a human being as they come. 30 years ago, he broke into a Southwest Florida home, brutally assaulted and murdered an 11-year-old girl and her babysitter. The girl's mother came home to the horrifying scene, bloody corpses that would haunt her forever, and called 911. Despite the heinousness of the crime, it would take decades and advancements in DNA technology to finally bring Zeiler to justice. Zeiler's defense attorney tried everything in his power to spare him the death sentence. But given that Zeiler was already on trial...
What you mean
for-
tried everything in his power to spare him? Man, he should be getting a death sentence off the rib. What? Bro, man, that's that, bro.
Another
That's that,
sexual
bro.
assault?
You know, bro.
That was unlikely.
That's that
Zeiler
YT
wouldn't help
privilege
his
shit,
case
bro.
much
Like,
at all
no.
either. Flipping off the jury and screaming obscenities from the stand like he was auditioning for most hated defendant
Talking about
of the
spare
year.
him.
Shockingly,
What?
the jury
He didn't
was not
spare
charmed
nobody,
by
bro.
these
He didn't
antics.
spare their life.
After careful
What?
deliberation, they recommended the death sentence for
The
Zeiler.
fuck, bro? That
Fast
shit just
forward to
blew me,
Zeiler's
bro.
sentencing. With a death penalty expected, Zeiler entered the courtroom and then asked for a private chat with his attorney. What happened next shocked the entire courtroom. It seems he wasn't particularly impressed by his attorney's performance. While Joseph Zeiler is the human equivalent of a dumpster fire that can't extinguish fast enough behind bars, he did provide an unintentionally valuable lesson in self-defense.
Want to know how I protected my team's focus
Ah,
time?
I actually don't wanna know, my
50%
bae.
more time managing project.
punches, while satisfying, often lead to amateurs injuring themselves as much as their target. An elbow to the face, however, is a game changer, delivering
Oof.
maximum impact with minimal risk to your own fragile bones.
No, that shit
Even
hurt.
monsters can offer teachable moments. Our next entry is oddly satisfying when you find out just how awful the defendant would turn out to be. Number 5, Kyandria Cook. Kyandria
Oh.
Cook was 18 years old when she and her boyfriend struck upon the perfect foolproof criminal plan. Signing up for a dating app, Kyandria was the face of the operation.
Why you need a dating
luring
app at
in
18?
Perry Nita of Palm Coast, Florida to meet up for a date. When Perry and a friend he had brought for safety showed up to the remote location, however, Kyandria and her boyfriend were waiting with a gun. Perry would end up getting shot and seriously injured as the two made their getaway. The two teenage criminal masterminds could not resist striking again just 48 hours later, but they made one fatal flaw: using a dating app to orchestrate their scheme. Because nothing says
Dumbass.
airtight alibi quite like
Big
leaving the
dumbass.
police a digital trail, complete with the entire plan,
Literally just
Kyandria's
gave him the
face,
proof.
and a full photo gallery to boot.
We got, bro.
Kyandria's defense attorney promised that because she was just a teenager, she would get probation. Her and her family were so confident in the light sentencing that when the judge dropped an absolute bombshell of 20 years in prison, Kyandria and her mother would go.
I can't even
viral
say
for
nothing,
their
bro,
shared
'cause, like, bro,
reaction.
y'all-
Kyandria would beg.
Y'all
for
shot
leniency,
somebody, but they
and
ain't
the
died,
judge
like,
would allow
I don't know,
no
20
attorneys
years,
to
though?
argue her case. Temporarily released on bail, Kyandria was warned not to contact her boyfriend, the other defendant, which she promptly did.
Of course,
violating
bro.
the court order.
Of course.
In the end, Kyandria
Big
would only
dumbass,
succeed
bro.
in getting her 20
You
years
damn, bro. A bitch could get damn near thrown life at her, bro. She still gonna go fuck with the nigga, bro. Man, hey, that just goes to show you, J-Bo Game, bro. If the girl wants you, bro, she gon' do anything, bro. Anything on this earth, bro. Anything, bro. She damn near just got life thrown at her, bro. She still going back to fuck with them, like, bro. Hey, man, I'm not settling for nothing less. You feel what I'm saying? J-Bo Game, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
down to just 11 years. Now, if you ask us, anyone who
Not
watches
settling
their
for
boyfriend
nothing
shoot
less, you know
someone
what I'm
and then
saying?
agrees to do it all over again just 2 days later deserves a full 20-year
The
sentence.
gun of
Teenage
yours
or
turns
not.
me on, dude.
Not only is our next reaction explosive, you will never guess what led
Shit,
to this defendant committing a double homicide. Seriously, pause the video and write your best guess in the comments, and then edit your comment with if you were right
can't
or
guess
not.
no homicide.
Number 4, Andrew
Oh, I already
Rock.
know.
Sunday, December 6th,
Bro, like
2009.
Mexican, bro.
It was a rowdy night at the Rock Bottom Saloon and Eatery. Country music blared as couples danced, and the bar was packed full of thirsty patrons. Jennifer Lewick and Greg Peters were apparently feeling a little extra that night. Lewick spotted Andrew Worth over by the bar, and as she passed by, playfully pinched his butt, proving that some thirsts aren't quenched by beer alone. We told you you would never guess. It seems Worth didn't appreciate this, and Lewick should have known better, as she was an off-duty cop. The three got into a verbal confrontation over the butt pinching that ended up spilling outside into the parking lot. There, the fight got briefly physical, with Worth shooting and killing both Lewick and Peters.
Bro,
Worth would
what,
end up getting
bro?
10 years in prison and 10
10
years
years?
supervision after his charges were reduced when his attorney successfully argued self-defense. However, his outburst would come not at the announcement of his sentence, but rather after his bail was set at $1 million. It's not known what happened just prior to this, but it's
Big
believed
dumb
that
ass,
Worth
you
may
know,
have been
hey,
trying to get at the
dumb.
victim's family, seated somewhere behind him. Ironically, Worth sported a neck
Nothing
tattoo
to
that
lose.
boldly proclaimed, "Nothing to lose." Turns out he had 10 years of his life to lose. Funny how life works out like that. You won't believe
Still,
how our
bro, that's
next
not like
defendant
10
managed to
years,
turn
bro.
a
You
simple
killed 2
misdemeanor
people, bro.
into serious jail time, and it was all caught on tape. Number 3, Daryl Jarrell. In most cases, trespassing is a minor misdemeanor. It's usually a small fine, maybe some parole if you really push your luck. But in rare instances, the stakes skyrocket. Trespass on the wrong property, say a top secret government installation,
for real,
and you
could.
might not just go to jail. You might not go home at all. Those lethal forces authorized signs are not suggestions. They are legally binding promises. But Daryl Jarrell was facing a simple misdemeanor charge for trespassing with a light fine. As the judge set an official court date, Jarrell grew angry because he wanted an earlier trial. But a logistical issue between the judge and Jarrell's attorneys had resulted in a later court date. Jarrell, however, had plans to leave Michigan, and now he had to stay. Jarrell expressed his fondness for Michigan in the following way, saying, quote, "I am tired of this state. I'm ready to leave this state as soon as
No way.
possible. You guys can kiss my ass." The judge, visibly baffled, couldn't
said that to
understand
the
why
judge,
anyone
gang?
wouldn't fall head over heels for
Tripping.
Michigan, a state where it is freezing most of the year. Growing agitated at Jarrell's lack of enthusiasm, the judge seemed personally offended, as if Michigan's charm needed defending. He warned that if Jarrell didn't speak with respect, he would be held in contempt of court, which comes with a 93-day jail sentence. Jarrell, however, was dead set on visiting the most luxurious establishment anywhere in Michigan before he left the state. Its prisons. If that judge looks familiar, it's because he was the same
running your
judge who had to
fucking
deal
mouth.
with a man calling into his remote
Look like-
court hearing with a suspended license while driving a car. Judges have been victimized a lot by people not taking their sentencing well, but our next judge decided to finally fight back. Number 2, Sidney Newsom. Sidney Newsom was facing
Bro,
charges
he
for
looks like a
domestic
menace,
fight
bro.
back. Number 2,
Oh
Sidney
my
Newsom.
gosh, bro.
Sidney
Bro's
Newsom was
tweaking.
facing charges for domestic violence and scheduled to appear before a judge to go over a part of his
Bro,
case.
I don't understand why
Growing
you're-
angry at the judge, Newsom was
Why
led
you're
away
trying
by
to
bailiff.
fucking fight
And
the
that's when
judge,
Newsom
bro.
decided that the best way to prove he wasn't capable of domestic violence was by getting violent. First, he tries to wrestle free from the bailiff, only to fail. He then decides to simply throw a stack of
Dumbass.
papers at him. Working his way toward the bench, he grabs hold of a telephone and hurls it at the judge before being
Bro, the
dragged
judge,
back
"Ooh,
again.
come here."
This is when the judge decides to take matters into his own hands and rushes Newsom, pinning him to the desk. It's good that Newsom was handcuffed. Who knows what might have happened if his hands had been free and he'd
Nah,
been able
for
to
real.
fight back even harder.
He was finna kill
Our
that
number
judge.
1 video is the most explosive brawl you'll ever see in a courtroom. And when you find out why it started, you'll be hard-pressed to find the instigators at fault. Number 1, Victor Nathaniel
Oh, yeah,
Rivas.
you know he came
Okay, we're about to throw a
crash out.
curveball at you. This time it is not the judge or a defendant getting into a brawl, it's half the courtroom. Victor Nathaniel Rivas was standing trial for the murder of a 15-year-old Ethan Soto in a shooting death. While waiting to appear in front of the judge alongside other inmates, Rivas spotted Soto's grieving family in the courtroom and decided to make a rude gesture at them. What the gesture was is unknown, but what happened to make a
Bro.
rude gesture at them. What the gesture was is unknown, but what
Tripping,
happens
bro.
next is a matter of record. One of Soto's relatives jumped the railing and began immediately beating on the murderer.
Hey, bro,
3 other
facts.
family members soon joined,
Get on his
stomping, kicking, and
ass.
punching Rivas as he got dragged down onto the floor. The family
Bro, I need to
members
see the
would be
real
charged with
video of
assault,
that.
But if you ask us, it was worth it. Which reaction blew your mind the most? Got a crazier one we didn't cover? Share your
Wait, what was his
courtroom
name, bro?
Soto's grieving while standing trial for the murder into a brawl. We're about to
We
throw
finna go
a
look at that
curveball.
right after this video,
This time
J-Bo.
it is not the judge or a defendant getting into a brawl, it's half the courtroom. Victor Nathaniel Rivas was standing trial for
Victor Nathaniel. What? Victor Nathaniel Rivas. That we need to go see that, bro. Bro, they got to scrap it in the fucking. That is crazy. No, I have to find that, bro. Bro, where is it at, J-Bo game? Bro, no way. Bro, that is fucking crazy. Is it in the? Oh, Sydney Nome. Sydney Nome. Oh, where is it at? Man, J-Bo Game, man, that's gonna wrap up today's video, bro. If y'all got that video down in the, bro, please drop it down in the comments somewhere. I'll react to it as a separate video, J-Bo Game. But that's gonna wrap up today's video, J-Bo Game, man. Hey, man, drop your favorite, or just drop your craziest, one, bro, that was craziest. To me, bro, was the first one. Shooting a nigga, bro, my fault. Shooting somebody in the head and calling them broke and you're broke as well is crazy. Like, bro, that is beyond this world, bro. I'm not finna lie. But J-Bo Gang, man, that's gonna wrap up today's video, man. If you're new to the channel, man, like, comment, and subscribe. If you your first time seeing my channel, man, anything, just, you know what I'm saying, tap in if you watch the video all the way through. I appreciate you support. And J-Bo Gang, man, that's gonna wrap up today's video. J-Bo Gang, J-Bo Gang, J-Bo Gang. Yeah.